Hello everyone, I'm Abyssial, and before this video starts, I would like to just preface the fact that nothing in this video is scripted. I mean, I guess it'll be pretty evident from when you actually watch it. I do tend to stumble over my own words quite a bit here, and I do notice that I repeat myself several times throughout this video, more times than I would like to, but try ignore that, even though it's kind of fucking hard to ignore, in my opinion. So yeah, tell me if I'm like speaking the gospel, or you think I'm speaking out of my ass, and if you think I say anything of somewhat substance, I for any sort of rant video that I do make like this, I don't plan on making many of these, as I think they're quite cloney, and I don't know, I personally wouldn't watch them, but I know people do, and I know people do watch them. And I don't know, I just thought this was a pretty somewhat original topic to talk about. I mean, I haven't seen a million videos plastered with this topic, so that's just kind of the first thought that comes to mind. So, yeah, tell me what you think of it, and if I'm talking absolute garbage. You see this piece of garbage, this piece of absolute fucking boss filth that is in this amazing game. It's just terrible, right? We all agree that it's terrible. I don't like it. No one likes it. It's garbage, right? D tier at best, right? Maybe C just because the cool entrance at the start, but it's a D tier boss, right? So here's some things that I'd change about Moon Presence that I think would, if they were implemented exactly how I'm envisioning them, it'd probably bring it up to like an A or maybe even an S. I don't know, I might be stretching it, but hey, it is what it is, maybe. So, number one is flying attacks. Why the fuck does Moon Presence not utilize any fucking flying attacks at all, right? Like, I know Orphan of Kos utilizes some, and, some people will, like, complain about the fact that it doesn't utilize more, but you can give the excuse that it's literally a fucking newborn baby, and that it gets those wings for the first time mid-phase as you're fighting it, so obviously, you could argue that it's not going to be as accustomed to using them since it's just fucking gotten them. But with Moon Presence, I don't think there's any excuse. The thing literally descends down to you in the cutscene. It's an it's an elder god. It's been around much longer than Kos, or has it? I don't know. Isn't the old hunter set in like... I don't know. I'm not exactly 100% familiar with how, like, the nightmare layering system works in Bloodborne and how, like, time works in that sense. Yeah. But, I don't know. I think it's kind of a shame that this, like, the boss utilizes, like, pretty much... Like, yeah, it doesn't fly at all. Like, I don't know, it's just a shame. It should utilize flying attacks. Like, even somewhere it just goes, like, overhead, just kind of, like, jumps for a second, like, kind of, like, levitates itself above your head and just lands on the other side and hits you with, like, an attack from wherever. Like, I just think it would give the fight a lot more, make it a lot more dynamic than it is, which is complete garbage as of now and forever. Like, I'm acting as if they're gonna change the game, but, yeah. Number two is not taking as big of a fucking nap, like not going into fucking hibernation mode after it does that one-shot attack, which, by the way, first time playing Bloodborne, first time I encountered this boss, first time it did that attack, I shat myself, because I was like, what the fuck? I didn't shit myself because of the fact that it was like, oh, I'm dead, like, oh, this is so hard. I shat myself because I thought for a second, how fucking unfair, how fucking stupid, what fucking shit do the fucking devs have to be smoking to put a one-shot attack in the game? And I thought that for about 2 seconds until I realized that, 1, I wasn't dead, 2, Moon Presence took a big old snoozy halfway across the map, and 3, that I gained back double my HP when I hit it. And it's asleep for so long that not only am I able to get back all of my HP, but I'm able to get like an extra 4 or 5 attacks in afterwards, which, if done correctly, there's a very good chance for me to stagger the boss and get a visceral off, and then be able to hit it 2 or 3 more times after. It's way too cheesy, is what I'm trying to say. It's way too fucking, like, I think it's stupid. I don't think it should take nearly as long of a nap as it fucking does. I think you should just get the same amount of HP back, and that's pretty much it. I think the attack should still be the same, but yeah, I just think that should be changed. Number 3 is grab attacks. I don't know, I just think there's a lot of room for improvement here. I think there's a lot of places in which these can be utilized. Like, it's got tendrils, it's got tentacles, and no, I don't have some weird fucking fetish. But I just think this would be really cool, and it would make a lot of sense if it just utilized some grab attacks. Like, I mean, I don't know what else I really have to say here, you know? Like, just whether it's like a big-ass wind-up or some, like, whether it's a big-ass wind-up or some, like, 2 zeptosecond, like, response time required type of attack. Like, I think a grab attack where... Actually, you know what would be really cool is if it grabbed you, and then it did a similar thing, like what Calamite does, where he grabs you, and he, you know, lifts you into the air, and, like... And you just take a shit ton of damage, or I don't actually remember what happens. Oh no, you just take double damage after it hits you with the Calamity attack. But instead with Moon Presence, it could be like, it grabs you, and it holds holds you up to its fucking face, and instead of just taking damage, which would be really fucking boring, your insight meter, your frenzy meter goes up, because, you know, like Moon Presence, Insight, Bloodborne, you know, you put 2 and 2 together, it's whatever. And it just holds you up to its fucking face. Your frenzy meter builds up, and that's how you take damage. I think that would pair really well. I think that would, you know, it would just be sick. There's no reason for it not to exist. It's just amazing. Match made in fucking heaven. And I mean, I guess there could, aside from it, like, doing that to you and, like, putting you up to its face, I think what would also be cool is if when it grabs you, there's like a 50% chance that it does that, but there's also the other 50% chance where it just grabs you and then just kind of like yanks you halfway across the map. I don't know, just some slight luck in there would be kind of cool. But yeah, number 4 is more HP in general. You know, like, I don't know what else I have to say. Like, actually, there's a lot to say, but this boss just has no fucking HP. Like, you know, of course, taking, you know, another thing you could say on top of that is taking into consideration that, you know, like, it's kind of a crime to play Bloodborne without the DLC, so most people fighting Moon Presence, like, pretty much fucking everyone, has done the DLC, and, you know, coming out of the DLC and then fighting a boss that's not only in the base game, but that's also really fucking weak, is just ridiculously underwhelming, right? And, I mean, what they could do, I guess, what could be done is, you know, if you beat the DLC, then the boss has more HP. If you don't, it has less HP, or if you've gone through it or whatever, but I think that would just be too annoying to implement or whatever. So, in general, I just think the boss should have more HP. Like, I took a look at the Bloodborne, boss charts at one point. I remember I looked at the stats for how much HP each boss had on, like, whatever new game cycle, and Moon Presence's HP barely goes up at fucking all. Like, I'm pretty sure Moon Presence on New Game Plus 6 has, like, just a bit more HP than Cleric Beast on a fresh playthrough. Whoa, chill the fuck out for 2 seconds. This is me from the future after making this video. I just wanted to butt in here real quick and point out the fact that I'm speaking through my ass right now. Like, Moon Presence has a very small amount of HP, yes, and it doesn't go up by that much. You know, I have the charts right here, and starts off at 8,900, it doesn't even double, right? But I severely overestimated how low its HP is, like, so at the time of me making this video, I wasn't really aware of that. So yeah, take everything you see in this segment with a grain of salt. So yeah, that's so fucking stupid. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm probably remembering that like really incorrectly, and it's like not like that at all. But the amount of HP it still has is fucking disgusting. Like, it's got way too little HP. Like, you know, also, like in Bloodborne is one of the most fucking cheesiest Souls games ever, the amount of shit you can do in it. I know, like, Elden Ring is on a whole fucking another plane of existence when it comes to the amount of cheese you can dish out overall, but Bloodborne, like, still doesn't lag far behind, even though there's not nearly as many things you can use to just buff yourself in general in Bloodborne. You know, the beast blood pellets do a whole lot on their own, so, yeah. Yeah, I just think it should have more HP. How much more HP? I don't know. Like, I think you should more than double the amount of HP the thing has, but, yeah. And that brings me on to my final point, which is, you know, obviously, if you've implemented all of the steps that I've said throughout this video, as a result, you're gonna have a much harder boss in general, right? But not only are you gonna have a much harder boss, you're gonna have a much longer fight in general. And how fucking boring would it be if you just heard like, can you imagine the fight? Okay, let's do some maths here. So, like, the fight's obviously gonna be a lot harder, right? No shit. And as a result, it's gonna be a lot longer. No shit. And, of course, as a result, you're gonna have to listen to the same OST for a lot longer. Also, no shit. But the OST is well, whatever. The point I'm trying to say is it should have a longer OST. It should have a more diverse OST. You know, of course, you take all these things into consideration. The fight's going to be a lot longer, and listening to this like, don't get me wrong, I think the Moon Presence OST is very fitting. I don't think it's like overdone or anything, like Godskin Apostles or whatever. Like, that's a garbage boss, and they give it a good OST. You know what I mean? Like another, like, the Gank boss in the first DLC from Dark Souls 2, the end part of that OST is also really fucking good. And that boss is terrible, right? But, like, it doesn't fit it at all, right? But Moon Presence, I think the OST fits it perfectly, but I don't know, I think that, you know, of course, the fight being a lot longer and stuff, you're obviously going to need a longer OST to compensate for that, and not, you know, like, the Moon Presence fight as it is, the track in the background loops, it's very noticeable how many times it loops. Like, I know when it goes into second phase, you have that, like, orchestral arrangement kick in, and then that part kind of just tends to repeat. Like, since it's so small and so short, it tends to repeat itself over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, like a lot through the whole fight, which is really, really short to begin with. Like, the fight's really short, so if it repeats that long, it's just, yeah, I don't know, it's bad, I don't like it. Yeah, that's all I really have to say. I come into these videos with no scripts at all, as I think that is cringe. I'm joking, I don't think it's cringe, I just think it takes a layer of authenticity away from what I'm trying to say and what I'm trying to convey, I guess. And, yeah. And before I end off this video, I just want to say that I'm very aware of the concept that, like, by the like, you know, you've gathered all the umbilical cords, and you get to Moon Presence, and it's now shifted the dynamic, and you're not as strong as the Moon Presence. I'm pretty sure you're stronger than the Moon Presence, and that's why it takes notice to you, as opposed to before, it just kind of, like, captures you or whatever. But, you know, I'm very aware of the concept that, and, you know, the whole, like, idea, and the fact that in, you know, the lore of the game, you get to Moon Presence, you are stronger than the boss, or at least on some sort of equal footing by the time you get to it. And I'm just gonna say it straight up, I think that idea is complete garbage. I don't like it. I don't know why. I don't like it at all. I think instead of the idea being that, I think instead it should be, you've got all the umbilical cords, and you're only just able to challenge the Moon Presence. Like, it only just takes an interest in you. And instead of sort of like running away from you the whole fight, you know, instead of it hunting you, you're hunting it, or at least that's the idea. That's the sort of theme I get from this fight. I think instead of that being the whole dynamic, it should be you have all the umbilical cords, right? And the moon presence is barely able, like you're barely able to stand up to it, and it barely takes notice to you, and it turns to fight you as a result. I think that would be a much more fitting dynamic than you just having collected a bunch of Great One organs, and then you pull up to the moon, and then you pull up to it, and then it's like, oh, you're better than me now, I must run, and now I have like 3 times as less HP, and you know, yeah, I'm very aware of the concept and why it's done that way, but I just think it's terrible, and and I think like this way is a lot more fitting. It adds a lot. It adds a lot more potential for the fight to be a lot grander than it is, which I think would do it a lot more good than what it currently is now. And yeah, of course, you know, I'm aware they're not gonna do shit with this. Bloodborne is like fucking 9 years old. It's almost a decade old. Like that alone for me to say is kind of crazy. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. See ya.